Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video where today we are going through all the major updates coming Go Battle League Season 17. There are some massive move updates, Pokemon getting new moves, and the meta is going to change, hopefully. So, we are going to get into all my thoughts and reactions to these moves and these different updates. If you enjoy this type of content, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, and without further ado, let's get in to the business. This is going to be Timeless Travel Season. Cool name. Any time travelers in the comments, let me know. Let me know what year you're from. And what's going to happen in the future. Just kidding. Don't tell me. Make it a surprise. Also, this caught my attention. There is a weird deer here. Pokemon originally discovered in the Hizui region, featured in Pokemon Legends, will be coming to Pokemon Go. I have been looking forward to weird deer because, as you know, I'm a big Milwaukee Bucks fan. I like my Shiny Shadow Stantler. If Weird Deer is good, dude, that's enough for me to be a successful season. Expedition, Community Days coming up. They're going to keep it revealed till later on. So here's a lot of information that you can kind of look through yourselves about what's coming into this new season. But what we're going to focus on is the Go Battle League season and what's going to affect PvP here. So I'm kind of going to just graze through or skim through the different leagues that we're going to be seeing, because it's a lot of the same, but a few different ones, right? Retro Cup, great league. That sounds cool. Holiday Cup, Little Edition. I know a lot of you guys are Little Cup fanatics out there. I'm personally not a Little Cup guy, but I see the appeal. I see the appeal. We got some Go Battle Days. 4 times dust. Stock up that dust. And all 3 leagues are active. That's always nice during the Go Battle Days. So, here are going to be some of the rewards through the ranks. Rank 1. Rise, you're not going to get to rank 1. You're not going to get to rank 6. I can feel the haters coming in. Just kidding. Sometimes I just make up imaginary haters. And sometimes people think it's funny. I think it's funny. Sometimes people are like, Rise, why do you just always make up imaginary haters? So, whatever. Hisuian Sneasel, Machoke, Shiny Dino, Goomy, Shiny, Jang Mo-O, and of course Pika Libre. I just had someone in my Twitch stream say, Rise, I learned about fast move timing by watching one of your videos, and I hit Legend, and their first Pika Libre was a shiny Pika Libre. I have, I think, 14 Pika Libres, still no shiny. What's up with that? What's the deal with Pika Libre? It's like a Seinfeld skit. Here are some more encounters. And this is going to be the pose. Ooh. Fancy schmancy. Actually, I don't know how I feel about this. What are they doing? Like, what is this? Inspired by Ingo, Warden of the Pearl Clan. Let me know what you guys think of this pose in the comments. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know, like, what they're doing exactly. Some more details on the cups that are coming. Hizui Cup. Pokemon must be low 1500. Only Pokemon found in Pokemon Legends Arceus Pokedex are eligible. Interesting. That's a pretty cool theme. Now, we go through the different cups, and this is the meat and potatoes of the video, where we look at the attack changes. Mud Slap and Fire Spin. Well, let's go one by one. Mud Slap, energy generation increase. I would assume it's going to gain 1 energy per Mud Slap. So, Pokemon like Rhyperior, like Golurk, maybe Claydol, there aren't a whole lot of top meta picks where their primary move is Mud Slap. So, giving it a buff makes sense. And we could see a little bit more action from Pokemon like Golurk, like Rhyperior, especially in themed metas. Because there are some theme metas where Golurk can thrive. I know Zweilous, a terrific battler, likes to run his Shadow Golurk. So Mud Slap, energy increase, getting to Shadow Punch, Dynamic Punch a little bit faster is interesting. Fire Spin, going from 9 power to 10 power. I haven't heard a ton of people talk about it. Oh, oops. What just happened, bro? I haven't heard a ton of people talk about this, but it's kind of significant because Fire Spin is a clone of Ice Shard, which is already considered like a decent fast move. And now another damage on top of it. makes it like a better version of Ice Shard. So Fire Spin, very formidable fast move now. And I think not Alolan Ninetales, Kanto Ninetales going to be strengthened because of this. And you're going to be doing some significant damage with Fire Spin, as well as pacing to your Weather Ball and Scorching Sands or Overheat relatively quickly still. Here's a big one. Incinerate going from 15 to 20 base power. Incinerate already inflicted a lot of damage per Incinerate. Now it's going to do even more. And be careful of the Talonflame, because we're going to see another thing that'll affect that later. Blaze Kick, 55 to 60. I don't see this impacting much. I mean, Blaziken maybe gives it a little bit more play, but there aren't a ton of things that run Blaze Kick to my knowledge. Other than Blaziken, I can't even think of something off the top of my head. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure there's something else that I'm missing. Here is a very significant one. Breaking Swipe will no longer be a guaranteed debuff. Breaking Swipe will now only be a % chance to lower your opponent's attack. If we want to get into some PV poke action here, if we look at the Ultra League rankings, yo, the new computer is kind of sick. I can actually do this quickly. Steelix number 2 in the Ultra League rankings. You don't see it as much in like Show 6 in Great League, but look, it's ranked number 9 in the Great League. Breaking Swipe getting a percentage instead of a guaranteed debuff, totally going to change Steelix. It'll still be quite strong. I mean, it's still extremely bulky in the Ultra League, but it's like similar to when Zapkin and Reggie got nerfed. It's kind of the same thing, right? Still going to be really strong, but not going to be as overpowered as it is right now, because there's nothing more annoying than playing a Breaking Swipe Steelix. And one common team, right, in the Great League is if you see a Steelix in the lead and then there's a Medicham and then it's either like a Carbink or a Bastion back, and the consistent Breaking Swipe debuff can allow Steelix to soft lose even bad matchups like Swampert or Medicham, and then the back Bastiodon or Carbink is just free. So I think the Breaking Swipe nerf is welcomed by the community. Iron Tail, 9 to 10 power, energy generation increase. This is interesting. Iron Tail is a really bad move, and one thing I'll show you guys quickly is in PV Poke, you can actually go to this move section over here, and if we look at Iron Tail, it has 9 damage, 6 energy, going from 10 and 7. It's the 3-turn, so it's still not great, to be honest. It's still not great, because if we compare it to Fire Spin is 10 and 10. So Iron Tail is actually, it was so bad before, like unusably bad, that now it's just like kind of bad. Because I believe Hidden Power is actually 10-8. Oh no, Hidden Power is 9-8. So you could argue like Hidden Power is better than Iron Tail still. So Iron Tail still not great, but maybe usable. Maybe usable now. Steel Wing energy generation increase. I was looking at this by myself, and Steel Wing suddenly looks decent. Steel Wing is now going to be an Ember clone, I believe. Ember, 7 base damage, 6 energy for 2 turns. Let me make sure. Oops. Yeah, so Ember, not like the best fast move in the world, but some consistent damage. You see it most often with Shadow Kanto Ninetales running Ember. So suddenly, Steel Wing usable, Skarmory maybe usable again. Not that Skarmory's like unusable now. I see it every so often. But Skarmory went from like the best flyer once upon a time to more like something you see every so often and you're like, oh, this still exists. Astonish, 5 to 9 power. This kind of illustrates how bad Astonish was, because Astonish was so bad they had to buff it last season, and then they buffed it again plus 4 power. It's not often you see something buffed plus 4 power. That's ridiculous. They almost doubled the damage that Astonish does, and it's still, so now Astonish becomes an Ice Shard clone. So now Astonish becomes solid. And if you look at the Pokemon that typically run Astonish, you can go to the rankings and you can do @Astonish. And a lot of these Pokemon, honestly, I think are still going to be better off with their other fast move. For example, Rune, Coffin, Haunter. They're all going to still prefer Shadow Claw, in my opinion. Dunsparce, probably still going to enjoy Rollout, but I guess you have another option now. And yeah, so maybe it could like be something for the Pumpkaboos. Maybe it could be something for Driftbloom. Hex is still more energy, but less damage. So could be an option for Driftbloom, perhaps. I don't see Astonish really changing a whole lot, in my opinion. But it's nice to have a new usable Ghost Fast Move. Bubble, 7 to 8 power. Of course, Azumarill is probably going to be the main beneficiary here. Because the other Pokemon that have access to Bubble, I feel like usually have better Fast Moves. The main thing I can think of is Poliwrath. You're still probably going to want to use Counter. Poliwrath is gonna be best with Counter or even Mudshot. Counter is just it's very rare when a Pokemon has access to Counter that you don't want to use Counter, because Counter is just so good. There are Fast Moves that might be like super effective against something, but Counter is still going to inflict more damage. One thing is like Frostlass, right? Like the counters are probably still going to hurt more than the Psycho Cuts, even though the counters are resisted. Scald, going from 80 to 85 power, greater chance to lower the opposing Pokemon's attack by 1 stage. This could really make things interesting for Poliwrath in the meta. Could we see a boost in Shadow Poliwrath? If you look at the Go Battle League, Great League rankings, people forget that Poliwrath is ranked number 10. The Shadow version of Poliwrath is ranked number 10. You almost never see Poliwrath in competitive formats. But Shadow Poliwrath, now with Scald getting a buff, do we suddenly see more Poliwrath? And one reason we might see more Poliwrath is because Psychic, minus 10 power. Psychic already got nerfed last season to do 5 less. I think it was originally 90 base power. They put it to 85. Now it's 75. Now Psychic not going to be doing very much, bro. That Psychic is going to tickle the Clodsire. That Psychic is going to tickle the Azumarill. Psychic ain't doing much, so perhaps this makes Medicham more likely to run Dynamic Punch, just in general, because Dynamic Punch, I could be wrong. I want to say it's like 95 or 100 base power. Let's see. Someone in the comments has already probably said what it is. 90 base power. Okay. Oh, wait a sec. Wait. Huh? I could have sworn Dynamic always did more than Psychic, but was it actually the same? Psychic was just 5 more energy? That might be the case. But yeah, Psychic, kind of meh now. Like, what's a comparable charge move that we can look at that also is 75 base damage? If we scroll down, like Rock Slide, okay, Sky Attack, Doom Desire. So a lot of these moves are like not the worst in terms of damage, but Psychic's the highest energy out of all these. Rock Slide's 45 energy. You're doing the same damage with the new Psychic, but for 10 more energy. That's 2 whole counters, bro. Psychic gets nerfed, and now that's the end of the moveset changes. We get into the Pokemon attack availability updates. Wigglytuff, fan favorite Pokemon. One of my mom's favorite Pokemon. I believe one of its Axon's mom's favorite Pokemon. Getting Icy Wind. This, I think, could see some play in Show 6 Pick 3. And one thing I like to do myself when kind of just looking at how these changes might affect something is you can go to the Pokemon or the PvPoke matrix here. We'll take the standard Wigglytuff and we'll take Wigglytuff, and then you can give it other move since it hasn't been added just quite yet. I'm sure PvPoke will add it soon. Give it Icy Wind. Stack it up against the Play Pokemon Championship meta. Oh my god. Look at all these matchups it picks up just in the one shield scenario. I wasn't expecting it to be that much of a difference. Picks up Clef, picks up Crest, picks up Frostlass, picks up Alolan Ninetales, Shadow variant. Picks up Steelix. That record goes from 12 and 25 to 17 and 21. That's a major difference. I would assume the 2 shield is the same, because if you can debuff things in the 2 shield scenario, oh my god. Look at Wigglytuff in the 2s. Holy guacamole. 30-8 in the twos. That is kind of busted. Don't be deceived, though. That is busted, but also, like, how often are you going to be able to just straight up play the twos wiggly against something, right? Because a lot of games are a little bit more dynamic. There's going to be switches. Pokemon are going to have energy banked. So, like, you're not always going to just exactly have wiggly straight up in the twos against a Superior. Superior might have a head start, and Superior having that head start might flip things. So, but that is kind of crazy. Home Slice Henry is in my chat right now saying that is horrifying. I do kind of agree. Poliwrath learning Icy Wind is pretty cool. The thing with Poliwrath now is it has like so many moves. It's like, what do you run? Icy Wind, Dynamic Punch, Ice Punch, Power Up Punch, Scald, Hydro Pump. Surprise some people. That could be a video, right? Henry's probably like, ooh, Hydro Pump Poly. That could be a video. I remember Pocket was running Hydro Pump Poliwrath once, and I think he landed one that just like totally flipped the game. The opponent basically had the game won and just decided to no shield, and a dang Hydro Pump landed. Abomasnow Icy Wind. I don't know if I love this, to be honest. Like, because if you're running Powder Snow, you probably don't want triple ice moves. You probably want the grass coverage. So maybe if you're running like Toxic Razor Leaf, then you could run Icy Wind with it. But yeah. Avalugg, Hisuian Avalugg. Like, I mean, they already have Avalanche, right? So these are a lot of Pokemon that already have good ice moves that are now getting Icy Wind as well. So I personally don't see a lot of change here. Arctibax, I haven't looked at yet, but I was curious because we're already seeing Arctibax have some really solid play in the Great League. Arctic. Spell check, Rise. So we have standard Arctibax, and then if we swap Avalanche for Icy Wind here, I honestly would think it probably drops matchups if we look at the one shield scenario. Oh, okay, it says no difference, and it has an average rating a little bit higher. If we look at the twos, it picks up the Crest matchup. So, like, some of these updates, a little bit less impactful, but whether it's like restricted metas or how your team is structured, could have some play for sure. I think Avalanche is kind of hard to give up just because it's such a hard-hitting move for relatively low energy. It's one of the most energy-efficient charge moves in the game. It's a clone of Psystrike. Dedenne learns Parabolic Charge. Shout out to Swag Tips and his signature Pokemon Dedenne. I think Parabolic Charge is really bad, right? I think it's like a terrible charge move, if I'm not mistaken. 65 damage for 55 energy. It's so bad, dude. So I don't think Parabolic Charge. I don't think Parabolic Charge does much there. But the Dedenne is cute. Alolan Raichu learning Trailblaze. Kanto Raichu learning Trailblaze. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Raichus from like certain Sylph metas back in the day where they were really good. In the Open Great League, it's tough because they're going to really struggle against grass. They're going to really struggle against ground. So I don't know how much this really helps them, but it does give them some added coverage. So you're not like walled against the Swampert, for example, and you can fight back against it. Alolan Raichu already had access to Grass Knot, but Trailblaze could also help you boost that attack that's already very high, boost that Volt Switch damage. Alolan Meowth, Alolan Persian. Bro, I don't even know what Alolan Persian runs. Just out of my own curiosity, like, what does Alolan Persian even have? Persian, Alolan. Yeah, I don't see that being meta-breaking. Ariados learning Trailblaze. Interesting. Ariados with Poison Sting, Lunge, Cross Poison. Already a solid pick in the Great League. Trailblaze. I don't know. It's hard to give up Lunge, and Cross Poison's so fast. Ariados another one with multiple viable movesets now, but in restricted metas, it keeps you honest. It keeps you honest with all these new attacks they're giving Pokemon. Cacturne. Oranguru is one of my faves. Oranguru learning Trailblaze. When I first saw Greedent learning Trailblaze, I was like, oh, that's super interesting. But when I looked more into it, it doesn't seem to help it that much. I think one reason is because typically you're going to be running Mudshot Greedent. And if you go to Trailblaze, like, you're probably only going to get off... By the point you get off a Trailblaze, you're probably only going to get off maybe one more Body Slam in most matchups. So, if we put Trailblaze on Greedent... Oops, what did I just do? Greedent, other, Portland Trailblazer. If you look at the one shield scenario, it says it picks up Carbink, picks up Sableye, picks up Swampert, which all makes sense, right? Can hit these two for super effective, can also boost its attack against the Sableye. Drops Alolan Sandslash, drops Trevenant. So a little bit of a give and take with Greedent. I was also thinking Trailblaze with Tackle. Maybe you boost up your stab tackle damage. But look at that. It's actually 10 and 28. Loses all these different matchups with Tackle Trailblaze. So Greedent's kind of an interesting one. I would think Greedent would be better because of its bulk, its spamminess. But for some reason, Greedent, maybe it's the lack of like a hard-hitting stab move is why it doesn't quite stack up well against the Great League meta. But can you deny the cuteness of Greedent? Like, seriously. One of the cutest Pokemon, in my humble opinion. I don't know a whole lot about these four. Nimble, Low Kick, Smoliv, Doliv. And we did feature in Arboliva, I don't know how to say it, video. And that got a lot of hype because that was super spicy. But all these Pokemon learning Trailblaze, I don't know how much that will really affect things. Alolan Sandslash learning Alolan Sandslash learning Aerial Ace, like, I don't think you want to run Aerial Ace, right? I think you still want to run Ice Punch Drill Run. So kind of an interesting coverage move because now you can fight back against like a counter user, for example. But I don't think we want to run Aerial Ace typically for Alolan Sandslash. Next up, Delibird learning Fly. Uh-oh is right. Now check this out. Yo, Rise. Delibird learning Fly? That Fly's a pretty good move. Does that mean Delibird's going to be meta? Check this out. I actually looked at this beforehand. Play Pokemon meta. We got 38 Pokemon. We got the Delibird. We're not going to give it Legacy Quick Attack. We're going to give it Present. Have you ever heard of Present? I don't blame you if not. It's very high energy generation, very low damage. We're going to give him Icy Wind and Fly. Delibird, Fly. What do you think his record is going to be against the Great League meta? Let me know in the comments. What is Delibird's record going to be against the Play Pokemon Championship meta? You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Simulate. 0 and 38. 0 and 38. He doesn't beat anything. Literally. Doesn't beat a single thing. Let's go, Delibird. I think Delibird needs a buff. Poor Delibird. Didn't mean to disrespect him like that. But that's kind of embarrassing. Poor little Delibird, bro. Ice flying type. Like, what's something you would think he beat? Like, you'd think he beats Superior. Like, Delibird, what's going on, bro? How are we losing to Superior? The Aerial Ace does 37%. The Icy Wind only does half. And then the second Aerial Ace that lands KOs. Yikes, dude. Yikes, dude. Okay, chat's saying I didn't run the 2s. So, Delibird in the 2s. 1 win. He beats Diggersby. If they're not running Fire Punch. Anyway, okay. Delibird not meta. Now we get more flyers. Now we get more flyers that are learning the attack Fly, which is a solid charge move. For my own knowledge, let's take a look at Fly. Charge moves. Fly, 80 base damage, 45 energy. So, like a solid charge move. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. 80 base damage, 45 energy. So, like, pretty strong, actually. Pretty strong. A little bit worse than Hydro Cannon. It's like Hydro Cannon, but 5 more energy. So, yeah, pretty strong charge move. Drill Run. Okay. Drill Run's the better comparison. Drill Run clone. Fly, very solid charge move. And it's going to be adopted by many of these flyers, which could suddenly see some more play in the Go Battle League. Rufflet, I mean, Wing Attack, Fly, Aerial Ace, Wing Attack, Fly, Brave Bird. The problem with most of these flyers is they're very frail, they're very glassy, they take a lot of damage. But we could see them adopted as maybe some sweeper-type Pokemon. And then here's a big one, is Talonflame learning the charge attack Fly. Now, Incinerate, I think, is the bigger deal here because I don't know if you necessarily want to run Fly on Talonflame, but Fly could allow it to be more consistent. Brave Bird is going to totally flip some games for you because if you can land a Flame Charge bait and then land the boosted Brave Bird, you're just going to beat so many things. But Brave Bird, a little bit less consistent than Fly, a little bit more energy. So Fly could be a way to run Talonflame where it's a little bit more consistent versus Brave Bird is a little bit more hit or miss, but could definitely help you out in certain scenarios. And Ricardo actually made a good point to me earlier that you can double up on Fly because it's 45 energy, so it gives you a chance to double up, which you can't do with Brave Bird. We see Vikavolt also learning Fly. We see some of the Slow Bros, Politoed, all learning Scald, which now got a buff. Politoed is another one, man. It's like, what do you run on Politoed? It's got Weather Ball. It's got Surf. It's got Scald now. It's got Ice Beam Legacy. It's got Blizzard. It's got Earthquake. Like, it's going to be tough to figure out what the preferred moveset is there. I would think maybe like Scald, Earthquake is an option because you want that coverage. But you could also go like Triple Water, be kind of bold, like Mud Shot, Weather Ball, Scald. I don't know. Quillfish, the Quill God, one of my personal favorites getting Scald. That's actually kind of cool because Poison Sting, Scald, and maybe like Ice Beam or Sludge Wave could be an interesting pick in the meta. We've got Lotad, Lombre, Ludicolo, all learning Scald, as well as Whalmer, Wailord, Barboach, and Whiscash. Whiscash learning Scald, I personally think could be a new contender in the meta as a top mud boy. Maybe similar play to Swampert because you have the more spammy Mud Bomb, and now you have a water coverage move as well that's going to hit decently hard and also has that increased chance of a debuff now. So I think Whiscash could be a big beneficiary of Scald. But the thing is, without Blizzard, you don't quite have that same move to threaten things like Mandibuzz, right? So Whiscash, one reason it's so good right now, or I mean, you don't see it too often, but it's really good in certain limited cups because that Blizzard that you're worrying about is so worrisome that you might be able to successfully Mud Bomb bait and then land Blizzard. Without that, Blizzard coverage could hurt it a bit, but Scald Mud Bomb seems pretty consistently solid for a Pokemon like Whiscash. Corphish, arguably my favorite Pokemon. Learn Scald. They gotta ban Corphish, man. It's too good at this point. It's too good. You gotta ban it. Crawdont, learning Scald. Vigoroth, learning Rock Slide. We have made the joke probably 813 times that Bulldoze is a terrible move. Every time I mention it in a video, people comment. If I had $1 for every time Rise said Bulldoze is a terrible move, they'd be rich. But now Vigoroth gets Rock Slide. And Rock Slide is a very solid move, even without same type attack bonus. Very solid energy and damage per energy. So Vigoroth with Rock Slide, it's going to help it against things like Mandibuzz. It's going to help it against things like Charjabug. I think Rock Slide is really solid for Vig. The only problem with no Bulldoze coverage is against something like a Registeel. You're not going to have anything to really threaten it in terms of your charge moves. But Rock Slide for Vig, really interesting. And I could see that making Vig a little bit more meta. And as we start to approach the end, I think one of the biggest ones we have remaining is Shadow Ball here on Toxicroak. Shadow Ball on Toxicroak. A ghost heavy hitting move that's going to just threaten some heavy neutral damage against so many things in the meta. Shadow Ball Toxicroak seems really interesting to me. It is going to hurt it against certain things such as Mandibuzz, because then you're kind of walled in terms of your charge move coverage against Mandibuzz. But in more neutral matchups, man, Shadow Ball on Toxicroak seems really solid. You also don't want to... you also do lack that Sludge Bomb coverage against Lickitung, so that could be a concern for Toxic, because if you're running Mud Bomb Shadow Ball, I bet Lickitung can probably threaten to win like the 0 shield scenario, or maybe the 1 shield scenario, because yeah, you don't have that super threatening charge move, especially if Lickitung's like up a lick of energy, maybe on the swap in. It's probably not super comfortable for Toxicroak. Also another good point with Vigoroth, not walled by Drifloon anymore. Just saw that in the chat. We got some Pokemon learning Triple Axle. For Frostlass, I don't presume Triple Axle will be preferred, but again, the coverage is cool. I think Avalanche Shadow Ball is just such a good charge move set that it's probably going to stick to these. And Triple Axle will just be more of a spice pick with Frostlass. But there you have it, folks. That is the basis of all these updates. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. A lot of exciting stuff. They didn't really hype up any new changes that were coming. I heard some whispers from friends, but I didn't really know what to expect. I had a lot of people asking me, what do you think is coming, Rise, this new season? And I didn't know what to tell them. I really had no idea. I was just joking. I wanted a double kick on Stantler, but maybe we'll get that next season. And hopefully Weird Ear is good. What we started with, hashtag Fear the Deer. But all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Comment down below. All comments are appreciated. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And all that said, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.